Time travel. No. Technology that can invert an object.
All right, guys, let's continue our discussion about the movie Tenet. By the way, if you've already watched it but still don't understand what's going on, don't worry, you're not alone. Most people who watch it feel the same way. And the funny thing is, it's almost as if the movie itself knew the audience would be confused.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
Is your head hurt yet?
Yes.
Try sleep.
But that's exactly what happens with a Christopher Nolan film. If it doesn't make us think, then the film has failed. So prepare your brain to go wide when you watch this movie. And prepare your brain now too, because we're about to explore the science behind Tenet. The big question, was Nolan just imagining the idea of time moving backward?
If you're not telling the truth, she dies.
Now, for those of you who've seen the film, this scene is probably the most memorable. It's not easy to understand what's happening inside this room. We see two chambers lit with different colors, one red and one blue. And you should realize by now that throughout the film, red and blue are used as codes. Red represents normal time, while blue represents inverted time. That's why Sator's wife is deliberately given a red dress as a code to show that only Sator is inverted in that room, while his wife is not.
So she dies. 2.
Go!
1.
Actually, we see this code every day in real life. Red for hot, blue for cold. So what does hot and cold have to do with time moving forward or backward? Well, if you ever studied heat in school or the laws of thermodynamics, you may remember this term, entropy. It's even mentioned several times in the movie.
Its entropy runs backwards, so to our eyes, its movement is reversed.
Technology that can invert an object's entropy.
As they invert the entropy of more and more objects in the two directions of time.
So what is entropy? Let's go slowly. When we mix hot water and cold water in one glass, do the hot and cold stay separate? Of course not. Over time, they blend into warm water. Even without stirring, heat will move from hot to cold. That's what we learned in school. But actually, thermodynamics goes much deeper than just temperature. Inside the water, the molecules go from an orderly state to a disorderly random one until everything balances out. It's as if every particle has the instinct to spread randomly, refusing to stay organized. This level of disorder is what physics calls entropy. And here's the rule: entropy always increases over time. In simpler terms, everything in this world becomes more disordered with time. An apple left alone will rot. A house abandoned will collect dust, and its wood will decay. A broken glass cannot reassemble itself. And the same law applies to us. We grow old and eventually die. Even the universe itself will one day end. That is destiny, described in scientific terms. In physics, this is called the second law of
thermodynamics. So the second law is all about entropy increasing, which is just a technical way of saying that things get worse.
Because this law is the only one that cannot be reversed with time, entropy is what actually gives direction to time itself. Time always moves forward. It cannot move backward unless entropy could somehow be reversed. And that's the central concept of this film. But is reversed entropy possible scientifically? Well, let me give a quick disclaimer. Everything we're about to discuss is theory, so don't argue whether it's real or not. What you should know is that the physics you learned in school is not final. Scientists are still working hard to solve the mysteries of the universe, and entropy is one of them. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Neil mentions two famous physicists.
You mean reverse chronology, like Feynman and Wheeler's notion of that?
Richard Feynman and John Wheeler. Both were Nobel Prize winners and both contributed to developing the controversial theory of antimatter. This theory suggests that besides the world we live in, there exists another world on the other side, completely inverted. For those unfamiliar with physics, this may sound absurd, but if you study quantum theory and Einstein's relativity, the existence of antimatter cannot be avoided. We'll dive deeper into quantum theory later when we talk about the Avengers time machine. For now, let's keep it simple. Electrons, the particles that give us electricity, have a partner particle called the positron, also known as the anti-electron.
In principle, an anti-electron could form part of an anti-atom, and many anti-atoms could fit together to make an antimatter table, or even an anti-me.
And John Wheeler, the same Wheeler Neal mentioned, proposed the theory that a positron is actually just an electron moving backward in time.
Feynman and Wheeler's notion of a positron as an electron moving backwards in time.
Sure, that's exactly what I meant.
I have a master's in physics.
We'll try and keep up.
Here's a clip from one of his interviews before he passed away.
But then we discovered that if you have a particle going one way in time and then it turns around and comes backward in time, it behaves as if it had the opposite electric charge and was going in the normal way in time.
Maybe this is the reason why Nolan named one of his characters Wheeler.
Wheeler, briefing.
You'll need your own air. Regular air won't pass through the membranes of inverted lungs.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
Another interesting fact, John Wheeler was involved in the Manhattan Project.
You're familiar with the Manhattan Project?
The first project to develop nuclear weapons. It was this project that allowed America to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Wheeler worked alongside Oppenheimer, the leader of the project, helping to design the nuclear reactor. That's why this project is referenced in the film.
As they approached the first atomic test, Oppenheimer became concerned that the detonation might produce a chain reaction, engulfing the world.
So guys, Tenet may sound like it's all talk, but it's not just random dialogue. If you miss any little detail, or if you don't understand what the characters are saying, it's hard to grasp the movie as a whole.
A terrorist bomb, even one that can kill billions, is nothing compared with what will happen if you don't stop it.
All right, back to the idea of time moving backward. Every movie that involves time travel runs into the same issue, paradoxes, and we'll discuss that in the next part.
We're their ancestors. If they destroy us, won't that destroy them?
Let's bring us to the grandfather paradox.
For what?